Do you see this continuing in a way that Iran will eventually have to get in the mix, if you will, because Israel's battling Hamas on the south, Hezbollah in the north, and there's also the Houthi attacks that are happening from time to time, and all of these are basically proxies for the Iranian regime?
Well, I think there is a serious possibility that the Iranians will have to come in. And it won't involve Hamas, and it won't involve the Houthis. It'll involve Hezbollah. It appears that the Israelis are deeply interested in escalating the conflict with their conflict with Hezbollah. It's obvious that their first goal is to try to coerce Hezbollah to end its firing of rockets and missiles into Israel. This is a huge problem for Israel, and the Israelis are bashing Lebanon and Hezbollah in particular for the purpose of trying to coerce Hezbollah to stop firing those missiles. But I think there's an alternative or a second goal here, and that is to inflict enough damage on Lebanon that Iran comes into the fight. The Israelis are itching to get the Iranians and the Americans into a war. There's just no question about that in my mind and in the minds of most people I know who study this issue. So I think the Israelis would like it very much if Iran comes or tries to come to the rescue of Hezbollah, in which case the Americans will surely come in, and then you'd have a war between the United States and Iran. And of course, the Israelis would be allied with the United States. This is a long-term goal of the Israelis, and this conflict with Hezbollah may make that happen.
If you could just elaborate on that point, because it's a very interesting point that you touch upon. A, why would Israel want that? Because if we're going to have an Iran-America clash, it's pretty much akin to almost like a world war. And number two, after 20 years of multiple wars, first in Afghanistan and then in Iraq, do you reckon there is a pro-war, if not, an open-to-war kind of a mood in America? Because it's been anti-war since the last 20 years, in the history of the last 20 years.
Let me make a couple points. First of all, there's no question the United States does not want a war with Iran. We've made that very clear. And there's no question that the Iranians don't want a war with the United States. And indeed, the Iranians don't want a war with Israel either, right? So it's the Israelis who want to drag the Americans and the Iranians into a fight. And what's going on here is that by hammering Hezbollah and hammering Lebanon, the Israelis are putting the Iranians in a situation where they may just have to come in to try to rescue Hezbollah and to rescue Lebanon. This is what you were getting at before, and I think that's exactly right. Well, if Iran comes in, it's very difficult for me to imagine the United States staying out. So this is the main scenario.